I don't know. It's a plot hole. That's all you can say about it.
You know whose story doesn't have a plot hole?
I love you, Josh. Keeping us on the real track.
Can you guys tell I'm trying to find an application?
You're panicking for Zach's question that he's gonna ask.
You know who else rose?
Out of hell.
You know who doesn't have to fake his death because he actually did die and then came back?
Yeah. You know who's more than a symbol and actually loves you and cares for you and wants to sacrifice everything to be with you?
You know who you don't have to shine a giant light into the clouds in the sky in order to get a reply from him?
You know, something way cooler than the Batmobile waiting for you when you when you come to his side.
You know whose voice is also really deep and boomy?
You don't know that.
That's true.
Yes.
Hello there.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
Talk to me, Goose.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Why so serious?
World! I could do this all day.
Are you watching closely?
It's really sad. I think I only messaged one of you about this. You know, actually, the listener won't know, but William had a moment in the Dark Knight episode where he was in and out and not great connection, and I couldn't mute him, and I was trying to mute him, and he could still talk. The problem was that's only in the live stream, you know, when we're talking to each other, but in the actual recording, I did mute him, and I didn't have any audio to go off of, and so we were all like, I've lost all control, and I couldn't include that bit because it actually worked the way it was supposed to. But hopefully, Will, it's already looking better. I think you're pretty you're pretty. I would say that.
What did we gain?
No, you're not lagging at all, so that's good. That's a good sign. I'm looking forward to a very present William. Do you guys remember? I think both Josh and Will were there. We played Mad Libs with Google Translate, and I think that was inspired by Brandon Ferris's Google Translate cooking videos. But Mad Libs with Google Translate, running it through different languages and then eventually ending up back in English is so funny.
I actually got that from Unisonis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that was way before Unisonis. I remember because I was a senior in high school, and that didn't come out until I started college that fall.
Maybe.
I don't know. Either way, it's a great idea. And if you want a good time with your friends,
so much
play some Mad Libs and then put it through Google Translate, translate it to different languages and back to English, and it will be so messed up you'll have a hoot. Maybe we should do that for a special episode.
I would totally be down.
All right. Before we go any further, I have an announcement I would like to make.
You're pregnant.
Whoa.
No. I'm not.
In the adrenaline, I thought Seth is the one who said that. I'm like, what the frick?
You're adopting.
So I just did two Seths specifically. I was like, wow, didn't know that was biologically possible, but gonna see.
I myself am pregnant.
Neither Ellie nor I are pregnant. The announcement is about a new member of the family.
You're adopting.
You, Zach. We're adopting you into the Nolan Bros.
Welcome, brother.
You have hijacked enough episodes and played enough Fortnite with us and been in enough weddings, aka
played
mine.
Enough Fortnite. We have played one round.
And William hasn't even joined us, but now he can.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You guys need some of your game team because I actually have Fortnite and I can play it mostly all right. I actually matched third in my first game when I actually killed someone. So
yeah,
nice. Yeah,
because the lag wasn't bad for everyone else, but you know,
it was all bots.
Zach is now part of the family.
Wait, was that the announcement, or is there some actual announcement coming?
That's the announcement.
You're part of the family, bud.
That you're important. That's an important announcement.
Oh, I thought I became one like 2 episodes ago. But
well, no, you were. I've been putting you as the Nolan cousin or the Nolan Bros and Zach.
Oh, okay.
The Nolan Bros are now 4 people, and I'm sorry, William. Your art piece was great, and we might still make merch out of it, but
I spend like so much money on it.
I know.
I have to recommission it. Which actually, I mean, honestly, I probably could. I might, but
We need a group picture for them to go off of, though.
we got a wedding photo.
Cross Luke and Jake out of the wedding photo and you're good. Swap them out.
Dang, my actual brothers.
Yeah, you got your actual brothers and the Nolan brothers.
Your brothers, but not your bros. There's a difference.
This is. I know we're already off track. Are those baby
no.
clothes behind you, William?
Yes.
that's something we need to address.
Is William having a baby?
I don't exactly have the best back screen because I haven't really bothered to like, clean up yet. Okay, yes, those are all my baby clothes.
Don't talk about the elephant next to it. Don't talk about it.
There's an what? Where's the elephant?
Don't talk about it.
Okay, I don't have an
We're
elephant.
talking about the elephant in the room.
I have a Dreamcatcher, a Flag of Minnesota, my baby clothes that I've just been there forever. That one award I won for a fair, not a fair, for the what was it? Horsemen's? It was in an arena, whatever.
I got boots.
With the fur?
Boots.
Yeah.
Boots with the fur?
What?
No, Josh, you're messing up your green screen. No.
I'm sorry.
Boots with the fur.
No, actually, I got new boots.
Oh, dang.
The whole club was looking at her.
Oh, those are nice.
All right. Is there any other off-topic topics that we have to
Mike.
talk about, to address? Do we make a motion to move on?
That's what we should call the opening of our episodes, just off-topic topics.
We should just do an off-topic topic episode.
It's our opening segment.
Yeah, just unscripted. I mean, everything's unscripted. I mean, what? Oh, yeah. Let's show off our memorabilia that we have. This is from my sister. It's a little knitted Iron Man, and I love it. So,
All my stuffed animals are stored away for my children, so I don't.
I think that's the best thing you could have said.
well, Josh, you have a stuffed animal in your bed, so
You're literally
I
holding
snuggle with it. His name is Gary.
Zach, do you snuggle with Spider-Man?
I mean, he's a Funko Pop, so no.
Josh, I don't blame you. Gary looks very comfy.
Gary is so. So when I'm going crazy with accounting, I talk accounting.
Which Josh will recognize.
Will, please tell me you do not snuggle with that thing. That's terrifying.
What is it though?
Okay, so Seth, I don't think you did this actually. No, you didn't. But Josh should remember. We did this for like a PE class where we were kind of taught
For a PE class.
sculpted faces. And so this is a face I sculpted, and
I mean, it's a face, that's for sure.
yeah, 2014.
What I found out, Michael is talented in sculpting.
Sculpting.
Like she's
Like-
made like full sculptures.
Dang.
Yeah, and so that's what this was. Like you took like raw clay and shaped it, then it hardened, and now it's a oddly made face.
All right, I'm uncomfy. So Batman.
So Batman.
I think we'll try and make off-topic topics more regular because I love them.
We're 11 minutes in.
Again, not for the listener because I've cut a bunch of stuff.
One of these days, it's gonna start with it's gonna cut right to, we're 20 minutes into this, and that's the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, none of it had, or I couldn't include any of it, so I just cut it all.
Subscribe to our Patreon to listen to the uncensored version.
Wow. So Batman.
So Batman.
Why is my wife texting me?
Because it's your wife.
Isn't she in the same room as you?
No, she left. She couldn't stand me. No.
Wow, that was faster than I expected.
Just saying, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight, boy. Just kidding.
You know, that's been my thought with some of the with the comments I made in the Thor episode, Seth. Is that like, my parents could listen to that. I said some pretty edgy stuff in the Thor episode.
You did.
I like
No,
the word
hey, one
edgy.
of them is totally fine. One of them you just phrased wrong.
Yeah, was it the 9/11 one I phrased wrong?
Well, yeah, because you brought that up. You said, I feel like I could have said that better.
Yeah, there's a better way I could have said it.
But then the other one was about the kid dying, and you... that one's totally innocent. I mean, it's sad that he died, but also can send our condolences. I don't know. I don't even know that he died. Maybe Make-A-Wish kids survive sometimes. I don't know.
I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe they should.
That's not how it works.
It feels like he's still alive. Well, not anymore.
Dang. No, don't do that.
Imagine a kid makes a wish. He's like, I wish to go to Hawaii. Make-A-Wish Foundation pays for the whole thing. Comes back, cancer's gone. Do they send him a bill for the trip? What do they do?
Oh no!
As a businessman,
like you didn't fill up your end of the bargain. You know, we did ours. It's just.
And their end of the bargain is just to die.
No,
that was Wilson. It was fine.
That's basically his argument. I don't think that we have the name of the kid. It's just Make-A-Wish kid is all he's labeled as, and he went to set, is what TT said. I'm pretty sure that's all it goes.
Did you say TT?
What TT?
Oh.
To Make-A-Wish kids survive.
Is that what you're Googling right now?
I looked that up. I looked it up.
I want that in my search history too. Yes, many children who receive a wish from a Make-A-Wish go on to live healthy lives. Make-A-Wish grants wishes to children who are medically eligible, meaning they have a critical illness that puts their life in jeopardy. However, a child's condition does not need to be terminal to qualify for a wish.
Huh.
Turns out 60% of alumni reportedly fully recovered from their illnesses.
Wow. That's actually great news.
Yeah.
So, sorry if whoever suggested that line for Thor is listening and we were joking about it. That would be very bad. But it's good that you survived.
We're glad you're alive.
I don't know how to move off from
Cancer's
this.
gone! Yay! You know what else is gone? The daylight. And it's dark. It's a dark night.
Oh, Ellie's back. Ellie's back, and we haven't started the episode.
Oh, you haven't?
William came on at 7, and we've been talking about off-topic topics for a while. It's our new bit, off-topic topic.
Hey, some of this might make it into the episode. I don't know how much.
Oh yeah, some of it'll make it. We also found out that Make-A-Wish kids often have a 60% chance of... No, that's not it. 60% of Make-A-Wish kids often recover. You have a 60% chance. Soda. Yes, please. I'll take snack.
I'm getting one.
A snack or a wife? I mean...
Snack time. All right, guys. We're this far in. We're just got to make a quick snack break. Intermission.
Gosh. Why is there boobs right there?
I took a bite of an expired Twinkie a little bit ago, and it was bad.
Oh, what? Oh, I forgot you're a youth pastor who has junk food lying around. I'm like, why would Twinkies being the choice of preference?
And I was like, I mean, how bad can an expired Twinkie actually be? But it was bad.
How so? Like tangy or?
Yeah, just extremely tangy. It like wasn't sweet at all. So I spit it out right away. I'm like, that's bad.
Yeah, I understand the idea of having expired candy laying around a church building.
Should probably throw out the restroom.
So Batman.
Now that
I just gotta say before starting off that I kind of wish that I could have experienced this live, so to speak, as in having lived at the time and actually watched it in theaters as it progressed.
Yeah.
That was like a really interesting way to kind of like end the trilogy, end the Dark Knight trilogy, and I liked it. It was enjoyable, it was good, but yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wish, kind of like how I wish that you could like watch all the movies up to Endgame again, like that I could have actually experienced this firsthand in like a big movie theater, because I kind of watched it like late at night on my computer, and it doesn't have the same vibe. Like you still get a cool feeling from it, but it's not the same as like watching like Oppenheimer in a big theater with IMAX sounds, and it's like super big and super loud and super everything, and it just makes everything all much cool. I just kind of wish I could have actually had that experience with this film, because it's such a good film and a great way to end off a great trilogy.
I'm looking up 2012 movie releases to see what order, because wasn't 2012 when Avengers released too?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2000.
Avengers was 2012. Was Dark Knight also Rises also 2012?
Guys, that was 12 years ago.
Goodness. Wait a second. Highest grossing films. Okay. The Avengers was number 1. Dark Knight Rises was number 2. Hunger Games, Skyfall from the James Bond, Hobbit: The Unexpected Journey, Twilight Saga Part 2, or Breaking Dawn Part 2, The Amazing Spider-Man, Brave, Madagascar 3.
What?
This was a poppin' year for movies.
Wow.
Ice Age Continental Drift, that one's gold. I love the Ice Age
movie.
franchise. Les Mis.
Really?
Goodness. Yeah, I would have wanted to be old enough to watch these movies in 2012. These are great. Maybe not The Unexpected Journey. Josh and I have a weird connection about the Hobbit movie. It's the first time I met him. Is when I was in small group, or not small group. I was in youth group, and it was the year that Battle of Five Armies came out. And your sisters invited the youth group over to watch the first two, and then we were all going to go see Five Armies in theaters, and we did. And I remember you being the super annoying little brother.
Literally, all I did was walk down the stairs. I wasn't even that annoying.
Well, yeah, but your sisters then reacted like, "Josh, get out of here! Go to your room!"
I swear I didn't do anything. It's like, people, they're downstairs in my house that I also live in. I want to see what they're watching. Oh, a movie I've already seen before. Sweet. I'll watch. Not an option. Guess not.
No. So yeah, that's our connection. Anyways, we're off track. All right. So yes, William, I agree with you. I would have said that more for The Dark Knight. I want to talk right away about Rises not being well received completely, or kind of being the worst of the three, and why that is. I've heard people say it's not necessarily a bad movie. It just doesn't live up to its predecessor. Plus, Inception was released between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. So there's, kind of his magnum opus, and the one everyone went and saw. And the other thing, again, I've heard people on both sides of it saying it's really bad. Some of it saying it's really good. Often with trilogies, the third entry is the weakest.
Yeah.
But with Dark Knight Rises, it is the strongest third entry of any trilogy. Does that make sense? When compared to other finales.
What about Return of the King, though? Like,
honestly, yeah, I feel like in most trilogies that the ending's the better one. Although maybe it depends on. Maybe I'm thinking more of book trilogies, but like at least in my opinion, most of the movie trilogies, when I think of them, I think of like the ending being as like the best one, and like the middle one kind of being like, it gets you from point A to point B. But that I think
one thing that they were referencing, whoever said this, was that something like Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back is the best of the original three. Not saying Return of the Jedi is bad. It's just probably the lesser of those three. You would watch New Hope as probably number 2, and then Empire as number 1 of those three.
Here's how I see it. I think this is the basic framework for most trilogies. You've got the good first one, the great second one, and then the overambitious third one.
Overambitious is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good word for it.
Like the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, Dark Knight trilogy, and there's more that fit in the box too. But
yeah. Zach knows. This movie isn't as intellectual as other Nolan movies. We kind of said that the Batman ones really don't feel like Nolan movies as much, and especially where I believe Josh pointed out in the Dark Knight episode that you see more of Heath Ledger's passion and influence in the Dark Knight rather than Nolan's.
Please tell me that was a fart. Please tell me that was a fart.
Was that the loud cup?
Ellie, I told Zach about this.
You have the loud cup.
I have the loud cup. If I have to shout out any company right now, it's the loud cup.
This video is sponsored by Loud Cup.
Good, right into the mic.
You yell at your annoying little brothers who are trying to interrupt your youth group watching session. Use Loud Cup.
They popped off on Instagram recently, and I had to. No. There's a drinking spout that honestly, it's not insulated. It's not. I mean, it's just a tube. But the fun part is on the other side, where you don't drink from, and you blow into. And I haven't like full sent it yet, but it just a little. I thought you had a trumpet for some reason, and I'm like, we don't have a trumpet.
Get that, dude. I was literally just learning about like brand deals and stuff, and they say if you like what is going on.
I was about to ask when you raised that earlier. Why are you drinking from a champagne glass?
Oh, because it's fancy.
Okay.
Because I can.
Because he thinks he's sophisticated.
Speaking of brand deals, guys, you know what drink I am addicted to? We
Bubblers.
can't. No,
Celsius.
cut it out. We can't.
I can't
Because
say
if you
it.
like something, you need to make sure that you don't ever mention it. It's more important that you mention it that you don't mention something that you like, because it's free advertising. People will do that. So from now on, the company knows who they are. I am addicted. I will forever be drinking only water. Now.
Image rotated.
Dang it.
I'm more confused now, but that's okay.
Why? Okay, Josh. The image rotating is getting me.
It's bubbler. Guys, it's bubbler.
Oh, it's bubbler. Okay.
Oh, why weren't we supposed to say that?
Because they're going to get so many free sales because of us.
We need our money from it.
Yeah.
No, their ambassador program is only for college students. Like I tried to sign up for a sponsor, like to be a sponsor, and they said, "What grade or what year of college are you in? What university do you go to?" I'm like, "You only do college students, really." So I had to forego that.
They have turned down my application 4 times. Working on a 5th.
Josh, I think your maleness is working against you, because I really think that they aim women to be their ambassadors, because I have 2 friends from college who are females, and they were at least one point bubbler ambassadors. So
I will get enough followers. I'm trying to convince Michael to become an ambassador for me, because she has like 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm like, what are you doing with those 1,000? Advertise, please.
You're trying to get your girlfriend to be a bubbler ambassador. Wow.
you just want free bubbler, don't you?
I do.
So Batman.
So bad.
So Batman. I think Batman likes bubbler.
So Catwoman.
Hey yo.
No, now she'd be an ambassador.
Okay.
Neurons activated. Wow.
I was talking about Heath Ledger having more influence on The Dark Knight than Nolan did.
Yes.
And then Ellie interrupted me with the trombone cup. That's what defined The Dark Knight. You know, Batman Begins was good as a starter, and then Heath Ledger carried the second one. But then when we got back to just a Nolan movie about superheroes, it kind of went back down because of. I feel like it was a movie that needed to be made for the sake of ending a trilogy than one that he wanted to make. And they lost their golden goose, and they could have. We would have had another situation where Heath Ledger stole the scene if he hadn't passed away, and another B-tier villain had been kind of also stealing the show, but like trying to steal the show. If we had Riddler or even Bane again trying to play up to Joker, unless it was like a team up where they were trying, where they were trying to work with the Joker. But I also, again, shouldn't complain too much about The Dark Knight Rises, because it's actually pretty good. There's some weird stuff, some weird plot holes and time stuff, but we'll get into that.
I'm not surprised you guys are a bit more critical of it, because I think I prefer it over the Batman Begins, honestly.
Okay.
I think I'll agree with Will on it.
I mean, like, Dark Knight is still better. Like you can't compete with Dark Knight, but like I think I prefer it over Batman Begins, honestly. And like I wasn't like as critical of it as I suppose maybe other people are. But then again, I also am kind of also partial towards films that are the ending part, or just the endings of trilogies, books, movies, whatever. I'm a bit partial towards anything that's like that, so that might be playing into it a little bit, but still, I really liked it.
To give them credit, they finished a trilogy and they let it die. Not die. It's still thriving. But there's not going to be a sequel. There's not going to be a spinoff. It was just a trilogy. It is a good trilogy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I am kind of curious though, because you did mention about like Heath Ledger and how in the Dark Knight, like there's still an opening given where he was potentially going to return. So I am genuinely curious what Christopher Nolan's original plan maybe was for the trilogy, because to my understanding, this was always going to be a trilogy. I mean, maybe it wasn't, but I thought it was kind of always going to be like that. So I'm kind of wondering what his original hope/goal was for the trilogy, and what that would have looked like in an alternate universe where Heath Ledger didn't die and they actually did that, and how that would have looked like, and what Nolan's original kind of idea for ending the Dark Knight trilogy would have going to have been. But I don't know.
Well, I think Heath Ledger's role was meant to be minimal in Dark Knight Rises. I think it was going to be similar, probably to as much as Scarecrow had. I don't think he was planned to be the big villain again or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Zach, do you think that The Dark Knight Rises deserves the hate or somewhere in between? It's not probably supposed to be praised as much as any other. Like, yes, it can be underrated, but
Yeah. I think it's definitely the most comic booky of all three.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first two are a lot more grounded. I mean, especially when you get to the end of Dark Knight Rises, where he's dragging that bomb around and everything, and just kind of the fact that he has this big flying thing, it gets a little bit more. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit more than in the previous two. And I think that scene was actually meant to call back to a scene from the 60s Batman movie where he's running around with a bomb above his head.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I think that was meant to be a callback to that, actually. But I would say I don't think it deserves all the hate it gets. As I said in last week's episode, I think Bane was kind of a miss. I think the voice was quite goofy. Like the whole, "You think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it.
That was spot on.
You merely adopted the darkness." Yeah, I don't think that played as well as they thought it would. It was meant to be based off some wrestler, I think, but kind of just sounds goofy, like Sean Connery.
He's just going to casually diss Sean Connery.
I think that was spot on, Zach. Like it was. I think objectively, it's a well-made movie, but just so many things like nitpicky sort of stuff, like Tom Hardy's voice. Not that I don't like Tom Hardy, but like just so many things didn't really go quite to full 100%. It feels like it's a step down from The Dark Knight, and it's enough of a step down for you to be like kind of get shaken from it. But it's still a really elevated movie. Like, I still think it's a great movie. I think it's better than Batman Begins, like Will said. But Bane not having as much of a presence that's as powerful as the Joker kind of hurt the movie.
I just found out that the actor who played Bane in Batman and Robin, his name was Jeep. Jeep Swenson, passed away a while ago, but he was a bodybuilder, and he's kind of like the type of character who, the old Hulk or something, where they just used a bodybuilder for it. His transformation is pretty gnarly. He looks very goopy and balloony, but yeah, he just had a full-on, more of a wrestler's mask, honestly, in that one, which is very interesting. Zach, that was actually a perfect transition because we were going to talk about characters next, and I had Bane on the top of my list. I think there probably was a storyline that they initially wrote in where it was more of an origin story, as in his whole mask and his scar and his all that. We just kind of got his moral backstory of being in the pit, and then they fixed him up. I feel like that could have been a lot more sympathetic. Again, I've had a few words about sympathetic villains in the past, but giving him more of a purpose, he really seemed like a worse Joker, in the sense that Joker wanted to push people far enough that they do almost anything to survive, and that's kind of Bane's same point. But worse and slower over the course of like a year.
Yeah.
The plane jacking and blood transfusion thing, it's supposed to look like it's all calculated, but it doesn't. It's so odd that it feels out of place. And whereas Joker is the opposite of Batman, Bane is almost the same as Batman with different moralities about being a symbol and making people think a certain way about, Batman's trying to get people to be riled up, especially in the third movie. And Bane is doing the same, but for evil and saying, oh, I'm going to threaten you with a bomb. Any one of these trucks could have a bomb in it. And of course, Batman doesn't do it out of violence, but Bane and him really kind of shared the same mentality, though different moralities. Same drive is what I wrote down. So yeah, as far as the character goes, I feel like it was kind of lacking.
I think there's also a strong lack of fear of Bane. Like I watched the movie like 2-3 weeks ago, so it's been a minute, but I'm trying to think of a fight scene that made me realize like, oh, this Bane guy is someone that Batman should stay away from. Whereas I feel like the whole...
What about breaking his back?
Yeah,
what about that fight?
Oh, that's true.
Remember that?
That's true.
He is stronger.
Yeah, he is stronger, but I feel like most of it is like just trying to find Bane, or like it's literally just there's not enough emphasis on Bane. Like there's not enough fear of Bane. Yeah, he'll be able to beat Batman up, but I think the fear of that Joker had of like he's pushing people to his limits, like he's making people crazy, or Scarecrow is literally like making people unpredictable, and it's like some sort of a drug. Whereas Bane, he's just strong. He's just able to fight, and Batman may not be able to throw a punch. Oh no, what's he gonna do? I don't know. He could still throw a batarang. It's literally it.
Well, and the way he defeats Bane is he punches his mask and makes whatever is inside leak, and then he's like, Bane just kind of passes out on the floor, and we never see him again.
Yeah, like there's no fear of this main villain. It's just they're just socially distancing, and Batman can't do anything about it. So I think the fear of the Joker is what made like the intensity of every situation really, really good. Whereas there's not a ton of intensity in The Dark Knight Rises because it's just a ton of dialogue. Even Bane, his character isn't really known for any of the fight scenes. It's known for his monologues of like exactly what Zach said. He's not known for what he did.
Okay, honestly, I think I'm disagreeing with you guys a lot of different points of this film. I'm not going to say he's better than the Joker because he's not, but at the same time, I don't know, I kind of appreciate him for a little bit. Like the voice thing is a little weird, but it didn't bother me as much. I don't know exactly why. It's just kind of strange that he did it that way, but it doesn't bother me as much. But I think like the thing that I like about Bane is that he's a different type of opposite of Batman, and here's what I kind of mean. Like, I think the Joker is better because he's sinister and he's chaotic. Like, you don't know what he's going to do. Like, he's going to sit down in a room. What's he going to do? What's his plan? What's his motivations? Bane's are a bit more obvious. Like, what exactly he's intending to do is not entirely sure until he kind of explains it throughout the rest of the film. But you can kind of get more of a sense where the Joker, he's like an agent of chaos. That's his whole point. But I think what I like about the Bane is that he's a figure kind of Batman's past of like being from the League of Shadows, but he's able to out physically fight Batman, and that's something we haven't seen in any other Batman villain. Like the Joker is not going to be able to really fist fight his way out of Batman. He's got like a couple tricks and whatever, but he's not going to stand up to Batman in that sense. But so he relies on other methods, and those other methods, his subtlety, his trickery, his chaotic nature, and unknowable madness that makes him kind of ahead of everyone. That is what makes him more endearing and I think a better villain. But Bane works because he's able to literally outfight Batman, at least initially, and break his back.
Brain bakes Batman's back.
and then kind of tries to break his soul and that whole thing and throw him in the pit and whatever. But so I don't know. I just kind of like the aspect of him where he's a different type of challenge to Batman, unlike the Joker, who's more malicious and sinister, and he's not as good a villain. I'm going to concede that, but I don't know. I think he was mostly fine because he's also like he's more of a blunt instrument, and that's especially revealed at the twist ending when it's like shown that he's not actually the son of Ra's al Ghul, but he's actually just the protector of Talia al Ghul, and he's just been serving and working with her the entire time. So, I don't. He's not like as good as Joker, but I don't think he's really that bad.
Thank you for being the devil's advocate and more the angel advocate because of your positive perspective. Who would have been a better villain out of the Batman? You know, I don't know what there's a name for the group of villains.
The Rogues Gallery. I mean, that's kind of
Rogues Gallery. Yeah. Who do you think would have been a better villain for the third movie if they don't have Joker and they decided not to go with Bane? And obviously, I've already used Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul and Two-Face. So out of those people, there's others that they could have picked that would have worked as well.
You could have done something interesting with Poison Ivy and maybe Harley Quinn. But I don't know if they're big enough of a threat.
You couldn't have done Harley Quinn because Heath Ledger wasn't available.
But you could have done a storyline with Harley Quinn being mad that Batman dealt so harshly with the Joker, even if they would have had to subsequently kill off the Joker off screen.
I don't know if Harley Quinn would have been able to like carry a movie at that point, even in the villain role.
Yeah,
I would have liked Deadshot with like maybe a side story of Poison Ivy.
Deadshot or Deathstroke?
Yeah, Deathstroke.
Not that I can tell you the difference, but
Deadshot, it'd probably be Deathstroke.
Deathstroke is the orange and black mask.
Yep.
I think you mean Deathstroke because Deadshot was in the Suicide Squad, but less known.
Isn't Deathstroke a Green Arrow villain?
No, that's Deadshot.
No.
Oh, sorry. You said that Deadshot should have been the villain.
Deathstroke is both. He's been a Green Arrow villain and a Batman villain. He's primarily a Batman villain, though.
Deathstroke is what I am thinking of then.
Yes, absolutely.
Not Deadshot. Where'd I get Deadshot?
No, Deadshot is a character. He's from the Suicide Squad. He was Idris Elba's
character. No, he's from
character.
Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad.
Okay. What's the difference between...
He was Will Smith.
Oh, what was... Oh...
I forgot the name of... Oh, Bloodsport was Idris Elba's character.
Bloodsport, Deadshot, and Deathstroke. Clear as mud.
Yep.
Yes, Deathstroke is a great Batman character and villain that I think would have worked well. Especially as I feel like that often goes hand in hand with like a tactical military expertise. Whereas Ra's al Ghul...
They could have done the same story.
I know, I'm saying Ra's al Ghul was kind of a mystical, otherworldly, Asian type of... Not Asian in a bad way, just, like Asian mysticism. Joker was Joker and crazy, and then you could have a modern military man being Deathstroke, having, military expertise. That would have been really cool.
And you could, even if you really wanted to, for a finale, just like include a bit more of a rogue gallery where maybe he gets like his own like evil Justice League of sorts, with full of like Batman villains to fight Batman of sorts and hold the city in lockdown. But
the only thing I would say is that the Deathstroke seems to be a assassin type of character, where he would more have something against Batman and wouldn't do something to terrorize the whole city like Bane would. I feel like that's in Bane's character or Joker's character, to terrorize the city and make it. I don't know what the comic line is called, where you shut off all the Gotham bridges and no one can escape and all that stuff. But that's not really Deathstroke's character, so they would have had to change the whole story.
Well, I mean, he had kind of taken over the city at the end of Arrow Season 2.
Yeah, that's true. There was a very similar story in Arrow. Forgot about that. That's good. That's a good season.
Riddler, okay. I know Riddler was done in the new Batman too, but I think I would have liked to see that as well. Or Mr. Penguin. Like, I know that they were done in the newer Batman, but I would have liked to see like an underground sort of corruption, because the Joker, it's like a corruption that's affecting everyone all over. And Ra's al Ghul, he's kind of a mystical side, but I think another type of villain you can have is something that's happening under the scenes that you're trying to prevent, and everyone's super oblivious to it. And I think that definitely could have been Riddler and who did I say?
Penguin.
And Penguin, yeah.
I heard someone argue against the Riddler because he's too much like Joker to the basic person. Fair. To comic book nerds, obviously there's a difference. But they're still similar in essence of being crazy and playing jokes and playing pranks and whatever.
What about Man Bat?
There was a character that was intended to be Riddler.
Okay.
I think in Dark Knight Rises or in Dark Knight. Let me see if I can find him. No, that's not him.
Was it the guy who was about to find out who Bruce Wayne was?
Coleman Reese, because he was called Mr. Reese. You get it? It's funny.
Mr.
I get it.
Reese, Mystery.
Killer Croc too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we could have had a monster one.
Ooh, yeah.
I would have liked that.
Would have been interesting to see how Nolan would have handled some of these more fantastical villains like Killer Croc, Clayface, or Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to bring something up. Josh, or Zach, I sent you a video from
You did?
Troy Oboyo, which I
Oh,
don't know.
I
his
haven't had
actual
the time
name.
to watch that one yet. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but it's called "I'm Sick of Realistic Batman,"
Oh, yeah.
and he says basically that there's the essence of Batman is being able to be in a different world where Clayface can be an actuality. Where I think that's kind of what Raimi kind of had that feeling with Sandman just kind of being, yes, it was grounded in the real world because it was realistic in live action, but it was kind of fantastical. And the Dark Knight trilogy does not have that feeling. And I think we talked about that in the first episode. There's a reason we haven't gotten to some of those. In the video, he argues for finishing off with the Batman Part 2 and then doing a goofy Batman or one that can have these characters. And I'm like, okay, let's not reboot the character again. Because that's what happens is that we now have maybe Gunn will do this in the DCU. But let's just keep rolling with the trilogy for a while, with a saga, with a franchise, and maybe develop those characters into something that actually works. Instead of just leaving it to the cartoons or just leaving it to not ever be developed because they're not worth it and they wouldn't fit in the world. I think they all can if you write the story right, and I think Matt Reeves could do that.
I mean, that's kind of why I hope that they go past. I kind of hope they go past the trilogy with the Matt Reeves movies, just because there's so much in the Batman lore that you could go through. Especially, I mean, I think he intends to get to the Robins at some point, and it's not like you can do all of those in 3 movies. So,
Yeah.
I think,
I'd like to see Nightwing too.
yeah, Nightwing would be cool. Red Hood would be cool. Just seeing all these different characters would be so cool. I think they got to do at least 6, is what I would say. That might sound like a lot, but I think
That is really, really optimistic that you can do 6 solid good films in a row. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Oh,
We can't even do one in a row nowadays. That's the problem.
We'll see how Batman 2 goes, but also I don't want them to rush things, but also you're not guaranteed another movie. It's usually if you have the studio giving you the money to do so. But they shouldn't just get the best story that they want out right away. It's like it's the same move as giving us Batman v Superman as Batfleck's first movie and Cavill's second and Wonder Woman's first. Like, that's too hasty. Let it play out. Make good movies. Take your time with it, and then give us something really good later down the line. Like, don't promise anything way out there like Gunn's doing. Gunn isn't. I mean, he's giving us titles that he wants to adapt, but he's not hooking us with a lot of it like Marvel does. Play it slowly is what I would say to directors if anyone cares what I have to say, and don't rush it because we want good movies over the best movies. Does that make sense?
Bars.
Yeah. I feel like we've kind of been on a rabbit trail. So back to Dark Knight
So
Rises.
bad. I wanted to talk about other characters that were new to this movie. Talia al Ghul seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. Obviously, she was played up as a different character and had the reveal that she was Talia. I don't know. She kind of had a weird death, and
Her dancing is so goofy.
I know she's just like. She's kind of.
like that was the most actory acting way to die. It's like, oh, you've stopped my plans. Oh no. But I'm
Guys,
still
it's
gonna win.
hopelessness.
My point will still be made.
Nolan must have not been on set that day.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That one wasn't that great.
I will say I do like Talia al Ghul from like the comics as like kind of like a different version of Catwoman, where she's sort of a love interest for Batman, but she's also like quite literally the daughter of his enemy Ra's al Ghul, and she I know like the comics kind of play differently into it, but like there's kind of like a tension of like, you know, who's she really loyal to, and because she does like Batman but she also doesn't, and there's not really as much in there, and I think that she could have been done a little bit better in the film. Maybe if she was like alluded to more like the child of Ra's al Ghul more explicitly, and it is like a woman and there is somebody there. I don't know. But it was, I think, okay, but it did come a little bit out of left field. But at the same time, that's also like Nolan. He's got to have his little twist, like, and quite literally, they twist of a knife in this case.
Yeah, I liked Talia better in the Arrowverse, which I don't want to say that Arrow is a better Batman than Batman, but sometimes they get the villains a lot better.
Yeah.
I like Talia being a warrior in that one and actually having a relationship with her father that was shown, but again, that's a different Ra's al Ghul, so it's a little different. But yeah, apparently she's a mastermind, and you just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and they didn't quite explain the backstory enough for me either, where it's like, yes, I hated my father because he exiled my one protector / friend, who was the only person I stayed alive, who's the only reason I stayed alive in this place called hell. And then he just exiled him, and then I wasn't happy, and then you killed him, and now I'm sort of happy with my father or something, and now I want to fulfill his mission, and I've waited very long years in deciding to craft this elaborate plot to destroy Gotham and send a specific message maybe to the rest of the world or something like that. I'm like, okay. So I feel like that should have been developed a bit more, because again, Bane is a bit simpler, where he's like, yeah, let's just bomb the city. He's just like a blunt instrument used by Talia. So
Yeah, I get
Talia
you.
was a good choice, like, for a villain, though. Like, I think she does add quite a bit to the storyline, rather than just she gives a lot of explanation to a lot of storylines. Like, Bane wouldn't have been there without Talia.
Cool. Anne Hathaway is Selena Kyle. I really liked the subtle Catwoman and not someone who dressed like cats or was obsessed with cats or whatever. Like the goggles thing. She puts her goggles up and they're like little cat ears. Like,
Yeah,
that's way more realistic than, superheroes or supervillains taking on a persona that is related to something. So
yeah, rather than putting a furry on screen.
he said it, not me. That's not making it in the episode, and I cut it right there so that you just know we cut something.
It's just gonna be you know what I say. It just cuts to that.
Josh, that's going to be used out of context, and I hope you know that.
Please don't make it a bit.
give us the views. We need the content.
That's going to be our technical difficulty screen.
No. How about my mic?
Stop, please. Not Trevor, or whatever his name is.
Gary.
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 Did you hear that, dude? He just called you Trevor. It's nuts. Yeah, I know you didn't hear because you have headphones on, idiot.
I don't know what's going on.
Don't look at me like that.
Are you actually talking to someone right now, or?
No, he's talking to Gary.
Oh, okay.
He's looking at me. I don't like it.
What?
Oh, boy. Okay. Can I get you guys' thoughts on Selena Kyle?
Okay. Selena Kyle, Catwoman, that whole thing. I really liked having her in this film. I think it was a good addition. I think Anne Hathaway was a good actor. It is interesting for me to kind of compare Anne Hathaway's character, or rather Anne Hathaway's portrayal of the character of Batwoman, versus the person who's playing Catwoman in the most recent Batman movie. I can't remember her name. I thought it was like
Zoe Kravitz.
something. kind of just like the difference between the two. And I think there's certain aspects about the modern take of the modern Catwoman that I kind of like a bit more, where she's a bit more, for lack of a better term, flirtatious, because that's kind of like Catwoman's persona, where she's very like provocative, especially with Batman, and she takes on a certain identity when she's trying to go after her targets. And Anne Hathaway does that a little bit, but I don't know. But at the same time, I think she did a really good job, as doing the character, especially with trying to do a more morally complicated sort of person who's like a thief, but at the same time, and she's not like evil, and she's kind of doing it for herself, but at the same time, she also kind of has feelings for other people and doesn't care just about herself, especially for Batman / Bruce Wayne. And I did really like, and I'll say this much about the film, whether you like the Dark Knight Rises or not, I think it's a good film. I think we can say that, but I do think it is a great ending to the trilogy as a whole, and I especially love the introduction of Catwoman as a final love interest for Bruce Wayne, who can kind of essentially serve as the final person to kind of take him out of like his little dark hole of misery and loneliness, and actually give him some sort of finality and peace and actually happiness in his life, which is what we as an audience have kind of always wanted, and especially for Alfred, what Alfred has kind of wanted for him. And yeah, poor Alfred, by the way.
I do like her introduction as almost the Bruce's and Selina's first interaction, and they're kind of both playing dumb. But then she shows her cards and all that. I like that intro. And then her arc of wanting to do something more, and he's pushing her to help him and all that. And then she ultimately saves the day because she shoots Bane in the face with the Batmobile or whatever, Batcycle.
Yeah, I liked her version of Catwoman, I guess. Mm-hmm. I think she was better than Michelle Pfeiffer's in the 90s.
Okay, well, that one was kind of like all meow, rawr. I'm kind of crazy, meow.
That one made me very uncomfortable when I watched it. That whole movie was disturbing.
What about Halle Bailey's? Oh no, not Halle Bailey. Halle Bailey is
Haley. What's her name? Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Yeah,
that one was the one I was referencing, with like the obsession with cats and dressing like a cat and acting like a cat.
Well, I mean, that happened in the 90s one too.
Why can't she be scared of cats like Batman?
Oh.
Okay, so now you're just like thinking. Now you're just making me think of like a scenario where Catwoman's like, I've always been scared of cats my entire life, since because of tragic backstory involving cats and murder of parents. Now it's time my enemies feel that fear of cats.
She's making the suit. Someone asks, "Why cat ears?" Because they scare me.
Okay, have any of you ever seen Batman Returns?
No.
Which one is that? Is that the animated one?
No. That's the second Michael Keaton one. How she becomes Catwoman in that movie is so absurd.
Bitten by a radioactive cat.
No.
Wait. Okay. She gets like pushed out of like a top story window by a corrupt CEO, hits the ground, gets bitten by enough cats that she just comes back to life.
But they're not special cats.
No. And then suddenly she has 9 lives now.
Dang.
Well,
Okay.
Well,
just a brief thing on the side. There was also a solo Catwoman movie.
yeah, that's that Halle Berry one.
Oh, is that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that one is one where it's like isn't it the makeup is making people's skin melt off, and she's trying to fight the bad guy who's
Oh yeah, and then she
something?
gets killed. But then like there's like this ancient like society of Catwomen who throughout history, and she's chosen as one of them. And then she becomes Catwoman, and there's like this whole weird thing going on. There's like a subplot also with like a police officer as well. And it's that's in the 2000. I was also thinking of like the more recent portrayal in the Batman movie. But
Yeah.
Catwoman's had some very interesting portrayals over time, but I think this was a pretty good one.
Yeah, her origin was a bit made a bit more sense than killer makeup or getting bitten by enough cats to become alive again. I kind of like. I mean, if I'm remembering it correctly, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. part of her purpose was kind of to show Bruce where Gotham is without Batman, right? Is that kind of why she was there?
I think so.
Okay.
Sounds right.
You know, to kind of show her, like, this is what's happening. You know, the streets are corrupt. You know, she's just doing what she needs to survive. So kind of showing Bruce, I think she was good to give Bruce a reminder that there's still a purpose for Batman. I think that's ultimately why he comes back out as Batman.
Yeah. I mean, she plays whatever side is winning. That's her character.
Yeah.
And whether she's stealing from Bruce or helping him, you know, she's trying to be all in as much as she can.
And that just kind of goes with doing what she needs to do to survive.
Yeah. Well, although I would just say that Blake also plays a pretty big role in bringing Blake plays a pretty big role in bringing Bruce back. Oh, that's a tongue twister in and of itself.
Say that 3 times. I dare you.
Bringing Bruce back. Nope, we can't do it.
Bane brings Bruce back. Bane brings...
Bang, what now?
Okay, well, let's talk about Blake, because Blake Robin, apparently, I feel like makes more sense with the reveal at the end, because he's such a, trying to be a partner to Batman, but is teased that he was becoming the new Batman or a version of Batman, maybe Nightwing or whatever at the very end. I don't remember what I thought before I've watched it for the first time about him, because he's just such a Robin-esque character. And it makes almost more sense to have revealed that right away. I liked him as a character, as the on-the-ground cop and all that, and having faith in Batman as a symbol, and that's why he left him the Batcave and such. But yeah, I don't know. I almost wish that they had revealed that beforehand, so that you could have that as the image, the closest we would have gotten to a Robin in a Batman movie.
Well, honestly, I kind of think it works fine as, like, one, it's a Nolan sort of twist ending where it's revealed at the last second that he's going to be Robin / the new Batman. But I think that it also works better to have that revealed later, because Blake's character is kind of supposed to resemble that this is what an ordinary person inspired by Batman can do. That's kind of his whole point. And so if you do, like, the whole Robin thing, I think that just, like, kind of makes it like, oh, he's Robin, so he's always destined to become this. Whereas I think starting it off as, oh, he's just like this kind of random guy who's an orphan like Bruce Wayne, and he understands that, and he understands Batman, and he understands the role of Batman, how that inspires people, and he's inspired throughout the rest of the film, and he inspires other people to be inspired by Batman. I think that's more important about the whole point of, like, again, like, Batman says, like, it's a symbol. It's supposed to be a symbol. And when he talks to Blake explicitly about this is supposed to be a symbol to inspire people, you can see that best through the character of Blake himself. So I think it works actually better as an ending reveal where it's like, oh, okay, and he's Robin as well. And, like, this is the future of Gotham in the hands of this guy who's going to probably be the future Batman. But yeah, I think it just works better as his character is, like, showing that anyone can take on a Batman persona, can take on the character, the spirit of Batman, and inspire others to do similar. You don't have to be chosen because you're going to be Robin or whatever, or because that's who you were fated to be.
Mm-hmm. I'd never thought about it that way, Will. At the beginning of the Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, there's also a fake Batman going around, right?
That's the beginning of Dark Knight.
That's the previous movie, The Dark Knight.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Exactly. I think carrying that sort of theme into the third movie, like Batman inspires, and that like his influence is seen outside of just criminals. Like, people want to be like Batman. I think that's a great point, Will. Like, Robin wasn't just some person who had, like, some sort of exceptional skill. No, he's just some person who wanted to fight for good, like, and he was inspired by Batman, and that's what created Robin, not some vat of radioactive acid or some spider or something.
Yeah, or being bitten by a bunch of robin birds.
Or yeah,
or a bunch of girls named Robin. The theme of this movie really is hope in different ways. Bane weaponizes hope. The pit gives achievable yet impossible hope to get out of. Batman wants to give hope, but has lost his way. That's really, when you look at things through that lens, I think that hope is a pervasive theme throughout the entire movie, and that's something that ties into Blake's character of wanting to be on to be a glass half full type of guy and to want to do good, I guess.
Yeah, like throughout all these movies, there's only like 5 good people in Gotham at a time. So it's always interesting, to see a new good person introduced. And I think especially, like understanding why they're good instead of corrupt and living for themselves like the rest of Gotham. And I think it's especially meaningful as Will was saying that he was inspired by Batman. I think it's more just evidence of just Batman's effectiveness in Gotham. It's not just leading to less crime, but it's leading to people taking a stand and people living for making Gotham a better place instead of just living to make themselves richer or more whatever. For the rest of the good people, most of that just comes from their own morality or sense of righteousness, but to see Blake's come from inspiration from Batman, and I think it just was a real eye-opener for Bruce.
Yeah.
But I personally did not like the Robin reveal. Because just to have his name be Robin was dumb. I think he could have been Dick Grayson or Tim Drake, or give him a name of a Robin instead of giving him the name Robin. I think would have been a much more smarter reveal at the end.
I did kind of think they were going to go for that, and I would probably agree with that it would have been better. But
yeah, like maybe just having Commissioner Gordon call him son throughout the whole thing, like not giving him a name. Christopher Nolan has already done that a lot throughout many other films where everyone's just called protagonist or something. So I don't think it would have been a stretch for him to just call him son like throughout the whole thing, and that could have fit really well. And then call him Dick at the end.
Children can be cruel sometimes.
I was about to say the same thing.
That's my favorite line from the Batman movie, the Lego Batman movie.
The jokes they can do again.
I don't understand.
But I do think a reveal like that, like just calling him son and then like Dick Grayson at the end would have been great.
Yeah,
like an actual reveal to the nerds that know what Dick Grayson means. I don't know.
Yeah. The last character I had to talk about is Glen freaking Powell.
Josh,
did you know he was in this?
Hang on.
The capybara himself.
The capybara himself. Okay, the only reason I bring this up is one, yes, a lot of people don't realize Glen Powell is in Dark Knight Rises. Second, I will rant about his fake stunt looking so bad. It looks so safe.
Do you have it pulled up?
No, I can. It's the stock exchange attack.
And why are you people here?
I'm sorry. That hit just look at the way he flings his body. He could have just chose to he chose to
just stood up.
I know. Look at him just go wee across the floor. And then he just
maybe I'm not educated in acting up, but that looks fine to me. I didn't notice it at all.
He prepared for it so much.
I think Glen Powell just is a baby.
Yeah.
To everyone who has watched Twisters, don't at me.
Wait, you have or you haven't?
I have seen it. Glen Powell is actually a dog. He's really attractive in that movie. That's the whole reason why I got these boots.
Ain't no love in Oklahoma.
Josh, you're gonna spoil my Halloween costume.
I'm moving to Oklahoma.
No.
If you feel it. I feel it.
What do you feel, Josh?
Okay, what type of feeling are we talking about, Josh?
Attraction.
Oh, no.
Guys, I'm not gay. But I'm feeling it.
I'm not gay, but on like Saturdays, Fridays,
Seth, are you gonna be the wet white T-shirt version of him in the movie?
I think I'm gonna wear a white T-shirt and plaid, and then at some point in the night, we're gonna take off the plaid.
Oh no!
Ellie's gonna be
Pour some water
Daisy Ray Jones, whatever her name is. Tyler and what's her name? Kate. Tyler and Kate. That's who we're gonna be. Super simple. Unfortunately, we don't have a child to dress up as a tornado.
You should paint your cruise red.
Yes, I will do that. Put a roll cage on it.
Tape a screwdriver to the side of it
for the screws to...
yeah. So Batman.
All right, we need to finish this.
Yeah.
Let's actually talk about the movie instead of just the characters. I think one reason that people don't like the movie as much as the others is that Gotham no longer feels like a character. That's what you'll say about a lot of even past Dark Knight movies, is that Gotham really feels like a character, and that's often the case with good retellings of it. It's by The Dark Knight Rises, it's just New York with a different name, and that's probably what loses you a little bit. It doesn't feel like the people. Well, it kind of feels like the people, but it's more the police force versus the goons. It just feels different, and I think that didn't help the movie at all.
It felt the same to me, but I would say that I did like the whole idea of like the city at war / the city at siege, and how that works out, because I think I was genuinely surprised at how Nolan was able to, at least for me, convincingly pull off how would a crazed warlord / terrorist / psycho want to destroy people's hopes and dreams type of crazy guy, how would he actually be able to take hold of an entire city and destroy its soul, quote unquote, and like actually hold on to it without like direct military intervention. And the whole idea, like, one, destroying the bridges, two, like removing all of the major defenses such as Batman, such as the police, and keeping them locked underground, destroying the stock exchanges, getting your own little mercenary army, and then most importantly, having the nuclear bomb and having that just be like a major threat where, like, if you do anything, we're going to destroy this whole like city and 12 million people in it. I think that was, to me at least, pulled off surprisingly well, where a situation could conceivably be possible where something like that could actually happen, like in real life, which is kind of the whole point, where like, it's held for 5 months or whatever, and then it's like going to be blown up anyways. But that's like the whole point, where maybe we can get through this and take it over and all that sort of stuff. Because it is like, what if New York was held under hostage by crazed terrorists with a nuclear bomb? Like, that is conceivably possible. It is actually, for me, fascinating to consider the geopolitical ramifications of this if that actually happened in the real world, but that's an aside. So that whole concept, though, to me is just fascinating, and how that works, how the government tries to send in people to try and stop that situation, what the ordinary citizen kind of feels like, and like the police officers, and how there's a sort of resistant movement with Gordon, who, just want to give praise to Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. he a dog, as Josh would say. He the man, even when he's, in a hospital bed and people are trying to kill him, and his wife left him to go to Cleveland with his kids and all that sort of stuff. And
woof woof.
How even then, like, you have like a resistance movement to Bane, and how eventually you get to the final battle scene where it's like the police versus all of them. And just another thing on the side, I really like that whole scene where it's like Foley, and he's literally in his full ceremonial gear, and he's like, there's only one police in this town, and like they literally just go, they just charge, and it's a full army thing, and it's a little goofy and a little wonky, but I just love that scene as well.
Yeah, patriotic.
Badgers, assemble.
Police officers, commit brutality.
We the people of the United States of America.
One of the video essays I saw said that Bruce doesn't really become the hero until Dark Knight Rises, but he's donning the cowl again because he needs to, or because Gotham needs him to, not because he wants to, like he did 8 years ago in this timeline. I don't know what you guys think of that. It's pretty obvious that he wants to just be a symbol at this point. He hasn't been Batman for a while, and his drive is really gone. And so, and especially with the Dent Act at the very beginning, where they used Harvey Dent as the not the scapegoat, the opposite of a scapegoat, where they pushed all these good, laws to get criminals behind bars and all that. That was a good thing, but it didn't need Batman anymore. And again, he's a symbol. That's the point of the whole probably trilogy, but mostly this one, is that people needed a symbol to keep going, to a reason, hope to move on and to move forward. And he did it out of necessity and not out of the desire to do that. Right? I still think that the interactions between Alfred and Bruce are some of the most touching, especially when he's talking about Rachel's letter that he had burned, even though he had read it and told him about it later. But there's also a quote that's really good. And he says,
"You're afraid that if I go back out there, I'll fail."
I'm afraid that you want to.
And that's really showing how well Alfred knows how well Alfred knows Bruce, saying that I know you so well that you're not doing this because you want to anymore like you used to. He's really saying, no, you want to fail so that you're done and that you're out of this. And that's kind of manifested at the end when he fakes his own death and escapes. But also that has problems. We'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, that quote is really good.
Yeah, again, Alfred's just like he's great too, and great actor as well, obviously. But I just feel kind of so bad for Alfred because he's like, I've got this kid who I've known since like literally childhood, or since he was a baby, and then like all this sorts of stuff happens, and then like he's had all like the trauma of like, the past couple of years. And it's been 8 years of Bruce just being locked away, and he's been hoping that he'd finally get out of being in a recluse, but he doesn't. And then like he literally leaves to try and like jumpstart Bruce to like changing his life, and he kind of doesn't. And like especially like the last, like one of the last scenes before he goes to the cafe, where he's talking to Bruce's parents and he's saying, "I'm sorry, I failed you," and he's also kind of saying to himself, although it's not explicit, like, I failed myself because I did love this boy pretty much as a son because I kind of raised him as one almost as well. And now it's just kind of heartbreaking for all of it. Alfred, but at the same time we do get a final catharsis at the end though, which is very sweet in my opinion.
Yeah.
While you were saying that, I realized how annoyed Alfred must have been because he went through the teenage phases, staying up super late, doing eye makeup and all that sort of stuff, and it just never went away. So I bet Alfred was probably ready to be done. Let's be honest.
Okay, but that's the beauty of his character, is that he's so loyal and he'll never give up on Bruce.
Unconditional love. You know who else has unconditional love?
My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Guys, we got a butler better than Alfred.
I think he's more than our butler, Josh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Lord. Please don't.
Let's not say butler.
We know what you mean, though. We know what you mean.
If you smite me, spare the people here.
Spare the rest of liberty. Just Alfred's kind of purpose for years now has just been to care for the Wayne family. So, he was presumably a bit relieved when Bruce decided to take a step down as Batman after The Dark Knight. So I think it really, I would say it hurt him a lot when Alfred saw that Bruce was going to step up as Batman again, which is why I think he says he's going to leave if Bruce does that, because he can't go through all that again, because he's been so caring and loyal to Bruce for all these years now, to put himself through all of that again. I mean, Alfred just can't be there to witness that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird that he draws the line there, but he's still saying, I'm doing it out of love. As in, I think this is a bad idea, and you shouldn't be doing this, but yeah, that's good. Time happens so fast in this movie. I don't know if that's a Nolan thing or just an oversight. It seems like Bruce gets out of the pit and travels to Gotham in like a few hours. And Nolan said in an interview, he said, time is very elastic in this film. It takes it takes place over a long period of time, but speeds up towards the end. I think that hurt the film more than it helped. And it just feels out of place. It's not a consistent Nolan theme besides, time. But I think being reckless with it is not his forte. Mm-hmm. Just by saying he's doing something with time doesn't mean it's a Nolan thing. It's very reckless and odd to not have it be so patterned. Like I think it was the second time I watched it that I realized how long the city had been under siege, and it was just
it's supposed to be 5 months. It's supposed to be 5 months, and I think if you follow it closely, you can figure out the exact dates and stuff for everything. Because like there's one point where they say, "Oh, we've got 28 days left," and I think that's kind of around the time that Bruce gets out. Because you do have to explain, okay, Bruce did break his back, so somehow he has to like not have a broken back and like go back through his prison training arc to get out.
Well, that a broken back is fixed by just punching it a few times, like that guy did.
Just speaking of the prison thing, though, that is also one of my favorite scenes in the entire film. I'm sorry to kind of lab on this, but just like the whole point of like you're in a prison and there's escape, or there's a potential for escape, and there's the hope, and that brings a greater despair and blah 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 blah, and that whole monologue thing that Bane has. But I did love the whole prison thing where Bruce kind of has to reevaluate himself and kind of think like, I'm not afraid of dying, but I am kind of afraid of failing, and I need to kind of get back into this. And like that is his like returning arc of like retraining and getting better. And like the whole point of you need to let go of the rope and truly be afraid of failing in order to actually succeed. And the whole sequence of like them like chanting like rise, rise, and he actually does is one of my favorite in the film, where he actually scales the wall and like you get to see him arise out of this pit, a changed man. Well, maybe not changed man, but like a different kind of than when he had entered, but not broken. And that's the whole point. Like his soul wasn't destroyed, and like Bane is kind of surprised when he meets him again. It's like, you didn't break me. I escaped, and I'm back, and I'm here to save my city. I love that sequence.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Like near the end, Bruce shows back up in Gotham after it's been locked down.
But he's the Batman. I'm sure he probably knows some way to get in there somehow. I'm sure I think
it's an island, and all but one bridge has been blown up.
He's Batman.
It's a plot hole.
It is a plot hole. I don't want to think about it, but it's so uncharacteristic of Nolan.
What's the plot hole?
The entire city is shut down, and yet Batman shows up after he escapes, just on the streets talking to Selina.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really feel like that's that inconceivable. Like, if you just figure out some way to go in at night, maybe you glide in or something. Like, I think that you don't really have to explain that much, really. You just have to. There's some sort of way that he manages to get in there, because again, like he's been trained in stealth before, so I feel like getting into an island which is big enough to hold 12 million people wouldn't be that big.
Cold never bothered him anyway.
But there's only one bridge into this island.
Yeah, but it's not like you need the bridge. Like, he could glide into there. He has a Batman suit. Well, probably, or actually, how about this? Like, where's Wayne Manor located? Is Wayne Manor located inside Gotham City, or is it located outside of Gotham City?
Well, they say in The Dark Knight that it's just on the outskirts.
So I think that he could probably get to that, and then from there get into Gotham.
I think it's still on the island, though.
Maybe. Again, like, these are like little. I think that you can reasonably come up with some sort of conclusion where he's able to get into there. Like I don't see it as that big of a plot hole, because like, not to say like he's Batman, but he is Batman. Like, he is trained in like he's literally trained by the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
How did you do it? I'm Batman.
But he's literally trained by the League of Assassins to be like super stealthy and sneaky and stuff. So I feel like
I do see Will's point.
I feel like it wouldn't be that inconceivable to find some way to get into a city. They're trying to keep people out, but
I will admit it probably wasn't in the best interest to leave it up to our creative plot
interpretations.
Interpretations to get him back in. Even if it would have been as easy as like there's one pipeline that goes from here to there that they haven't covered, like you'll have to crawl through the sewers and come out smelly, that like that would have been enough.
Well, and the Batcave isn't even at Wayne Manor anymore, because Wayne Manor got destroyed at the end of Batman Begins.
Yeah.
It's underneath that random building now, I think. But
in the docks, yeah.
Although no, he kind of repairs some of it. Like we see it in the film. Like he does have something down there.
But the Batcave's underneath. All the equipment's underneath the docks or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's plot hole. That's all you can say about it.
You know whose story doesn't have a plot hole?
I love you, Josh. Keeping us on the real track.
Can you guys tell I'm trying to find an application?
You're panicking for Zach's question that he's gonna ask.
You know who else rose?
Out of hell.
You know who doesn't have to fake his death because he actually did die and then came back?
You know who's more than a symbol and actually loves you and cares for you and wants to sacrifice everything to be with you?
You know who you don't have to shine a giant light into the clouds in the sky in order to get a reply from him?
You know how something way cooler than the Batmobile waiting for you when you when you come to his side?
You know whose voice is also really deep and boomy?
You don't know that.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, actually, okay. This is a little off topic, but it's actually kind of on topic. Can I quick share something, Seth?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
How on a scale from off topic to on topic, how far do you think this is gonna go?
Yeah, I just saw this. I think this is
That's
really
on
cool.
topic. That's on topic.
That's sick.
It is very good.
Falls rises.
Begins.
I do like the subtleties of the Batman logo that they use throughout either the opening or in the posters and stuff. Somebody's pointed out that when Batman gets back, or when Bruce gets back, the first thing he does is paint his logo in gasoline on a bridge because that's important.
It's spreading hope.
Okay, we're running out of time. I got two more things. Do you guys actually like the ending of leaving Bruce alive?
Yes.
Almost okay, but it to me it feels like it demeans his sacrifice, or that he cheated the system or cheated the story by just saying, he's alive. Oh, his ejection seat or whatever.
So the explanation was that he ended up making autopilot for the plane, right?
Yeah, it was
That
autopilot.
But
Bro.
wasn't it so that he could kill Bruce and then just live as Batman?
No.
I thought other way around.
Other way around?
No.
Kill Batman so he can live as Bruce.
It's not so much that he can live as Bruce, so that he can live himself.
Godzilla -1 ends with the same final twist as Dark Knight Rises.
You're right.
That's where my mind just wow.
Kinda.
They got the autopilot working. That's how it ends in both movies.
It's the key to a good movie. No, then I can't be critical of it. No.
Although
right.
I would say, okay, if we're gonna just be nitpicky stuff, like you'd have to go really fast in order to get that thing to explode far enough away. Like it's a 6 mile radius, so it doesn't destroy Gotham. Also, even if you did get it far enough away, like there's going to be some major repercussions, like not just regarding nuclear stuff, but just like a big massive wave at the very least. You're doing this over water. Nitpick aside, that was a cool visual though when you see like the explosion and Gotham and it's still alive and whatever.
I would say I like the ending. I think it kind of calls back to Rachel's quote all the way back. No, it's from her letter. You know, kind of like, is there ever going to come a time where you don't need Batman?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of fulfills that. Bruce has kind of been living with this burden of being Batman, and kind of, I mean, it's a burden, but it's also something he kind of needs himself to work through all he's going through personally. And I think kind of seeing that come through and kind of reach an end at the end of Dark Knight Rises, I think it's very powerful to see him kind of overcome that need and kind of take that burden off of his shoulders and like truly be happy in life.
I think I would mostly agree with Zach. The main thing that I really like about the way that this trilogy ends is that it actually gives Bruce peace and actual happiness. Mm-hmm. Where I don't think a lot of other Batman media that really isn't the case. Like, in the Batman animated series, it's canonically followed by Batman Beyond, and in that, like, he lives alone as a grouchy old rich guy, and who like doesn't really have anyone who cares about him, or that he really cares about himself. And then, like, other media, I'm trying to think of like other ones. Like, it doesn't feel like a lot of like other Batman movies and media doesn't really have like as good of an ending, where like he's never actually given a chance to actually live in peace and happiness and enjoy like being done with Batman, because Batman is like supposed to like bring peace to the city and like restore it and whatever, and that's like a never-ending goal. Like in the comics, like you're always going to need more Batman comics. In other movies and TV shows, like it's never really ending. He's never given actual something for himself, and so that's what I really like about this one, where you actually get to see Bruce Wayne survive and live, and like, you know, Bruce Wayne dies and Batman dies, and he doesn't need to go back and carry on that anymore. He doesn't have to. He's not burdened by the past of being a Wayne, being a billionaire, being a playboy, taking on that persona. He's not burdened by being Batman, taking on that persona, hunting criminals, losing the people he loves and cares about to the insanity of Gotham. He can simply be himself. And he's free of that, and he's free to be with somebody he actually loves and cares about. You know, in this case, it's Catwoman, which I like as well. So I really like that ending, and the fact that also like there's the final shot sort of the film is like of the Dark Knight quite literally rises, you know, sort of. I think they could have done a better final shot. I would have preferred a different ending shot than just Blake and then just a big block of blackness just popping up. That's a little weird to me, but I think it's supposed to be the idea that Batman has died, quote unquote, but he's also still alive and he's going to survive through the form of Blake, who's going to take on the persona of Batman, who's going to carry on that for a next generation. And he is the Dark Knight, and he is rising. It's his point now. Like, again, like it's the whole point of the Dark Knight Rises. There's a new Dark Knight that has risen to the occasion that's going to carry on that legacy. And Bruce Wayne, who's, you know, the persona of Bruce Wayne is dead, but Bruce Wayne himself is able to actually live free of that anymore. He doesn't have that burden. He's kind of reached the final part of his arc, and I really like that. Like, you know, especially the touching scene with Alfred, which was hinted at the start of the movie, where he's like, you know, all I've wanted is to go to this cafe and had this fantasy of seeing you there and know that you made it, that you actually finally, after all these years, have processed your trauma, have dealt with the ghosts of your past. You don't have to be Batman. You're not dead, and you've made it. And that's all that I need to be happy. And that's all that that's what Alfred is trying to say. And he finally gets to see that. And you can just see the joy that comes from Alfred. And I don't know, I just really, really, really love that as an ending for Batman, where he finally gets what he needs and what he deserves.
Yeah, Batman died so that, or no, Bruce Wayne or / Batman died so that Batman could live on in us.
Mm-hmm. Are you going somewhere with this, Josh?
Similarly, Jesus died so that his spirit could live in us.
Haha!
Did you hear that?
We can all be Christ-like.
Gary!
If not
Gary!
Christian.
Josh, I hope you know that Gary is probably going to get keyed out somehow.
Oh,
because he's green.
Because he's green.
Gary. Okay.
I gotta go. I gotta finish this podcast episode.
I think the one thing I'll say about Bruce's ending is that he's Bruce Wayne. It's like if Mark Zuckerberg went to France to hide, and it's like people know who he is. So,
although he has been a recluse for 8 years.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. That's my only nitpick. Yeah. As we wrap up, because we're nearing a very long recording, this is a meta fun fact. Seth has fun facts every once in a while, and this is a fun fact. But it has to do with the greater movie story in our world. Did you know that Christian Bale has not seen The Dark Knight Rises?
What?
Oh, was that the one thing where like somebody died or whatever, and he made like a vow to not do it or something?
Yes, let me explain. I don't remember exactly when this happened in the release, because usually, you know, actors will see the movie at a premiere or something before everyone else. But in Aurora, Colorado, there was a shooting that killed 12 people and injured 70 others. James Egan Holmes was dressed as Bane and went up and shot a theater. and it was during The Dark Knight Rises. Christian Bale has vowed never to, or not vowed. He said he doesn't want to see it because he thinks of those people every time he thinks of the movie. He says he might watch it on his own, not make a big thing about it. You know, that's his decision, but I think that's honorable, and it's sad that happened and that he's chosen that. But I looked up a little bit of history. James Egan Holmes, the shooter, which also all shooters end up being known by their full name. I don't get that. Like, you got to bring out their middle name in it just to make sure you got the right person. I don't know. Anyways, or he was sentenced to 12 consecutive life sentences plus 3,318 years without parole after the jury spared Holmes the death penalty by a single vote. So basically, you know, they just add on that number just for drama. Like, he's never getting out of jail. Psychiatrist who interviewed Holmes after the shooting said that Holmes picked that movie simply because it was guaranteed to be full, and that he picked a midnight one to eliminate the possibility of getting kids, I guess. So there's the website or the Wikipedia article. The Wikipedia article probably is pretty detailed. I would trust it with that type of stuff. And the only reason he did it was, he said, terrorism isn't the message. The message is there is no message. So it's just sad that he was so hurt. And that's interesting that Christian Bale just chooses to do that out of respect for the people. So sorry to get sad all of a sudden at the very end. But
yeah, was the shooter dressed as Bane or the Joker?
Yeah, I read that it was Bane.
Okay, I've heard it was Joker, but
okay,
maybe it was Bane.
I don't know. He was not well either way, but yeah, that's sad. But sorry to end it so sad.
No, even in this, don't get on me for this. Even in this world of sad stories, I am so glad that we do live for the Lord that gives us hope for something that's beyond all of the troubles and toils of this world. Yeah, cities may crumble based off of some sort of military power, but we do have a home that lives in eternity that we do not have to worry about being overcome by some guy with a weird voice and a face mask.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys got 60 seconds. Where do you see God his fingerprints in The Dark Knight Rises?
I see it mostly in the idea of like hope, how hope can be both like despairing, like you can have despair with like maybe there's a chance you'll escape and you can't actually do that. But I think that ultimately the message of this film is about like how we can have ultimate hope and trying to like work with others and escaping whatever and having a hero. But the message of the Bible is that there is an ultimate hope that you can always rely on and that will provide you for the rest of your life. Also, just quick meta thing. This is actually very much inspired by A Tale of Two Cities, which I am actually reading through, and there's a lot of like weird, interesting correlations between this film and that. But that's aside.
It's actually very directly related to The Tale of Two Cities because at the very end, Gordon is reading from the book,
which is good, and I am just about to finish reading that book myself. So it's an interesting coincidence.
Who's next?
I just want to second what Will said. Literally exactly what I was just talking about. Like Batman, I don't like using him comparing anything to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but like his death does still give people hope even after he's gone, because the rest of our story with Jesus is we know he's coming back, whereas the people in Gotham don't have the hope of Batman coming back, but like that hope that Jesus brought is something that we live on in other people's lives, whether our name is Robin or Dick Grayson. It's like we live on the hope of Batman, Jesus Christ. Like, I think that's a very easy parallel to see.
So I would say, I think the ultimate theme of the whole trilogy is rising above. The first one's rising above fear, the second one's rising above chaos, and now this one's about rising above pain. And I think, as Christians, especially, we go through, we're even told we're going to go through a lot of suffering and pain in life. And just the best we can do is to not be discouraged, but, hold on to that hope, as Josh was saying, and really just stay hopeful and stay true to yourself and focus on the mission at hand when going through all of that, because in the end, that the battle's won.
Yeah, it's good. I was kind of thinking along the lines of inspiration, but I guess that's not really how I see God's fingerprints. But my point is that not everyone needs to be Batman to make a difference. That was kind of hinted at in the second one, where people were trying to be Batman, and Batman's like, "You don't get it." Yeah, we can be creative. We can be our own person. We can add our own thing to the world without just copying somebody else. And that's I can go on a whole rant about being creative and how that's a gift of God and from God, and us, or a reflection of us being made in His image. And I think that's something that is in all of us, to be able to be creative, to the glory of God, to reflect His creativity that He's given us in creating us, but also how we're made in His image. And so being your own person and not trying to be someone else, I suppose. It's very loose, but I think you get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does sound a bit hippie, I'm just going to say.
Thank you, Will.
Somebody's got to be the cynical realist in this party.
And it's not me? I'm offended, William. Thank you for being that person.
I tried.
Just, I think, still going along the lines of God's fingerprints, there's a quote near the end of the movie from Batman. A hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a little boy's shoulders to let him know that the world hadn't ended. You're welcome for the Batman impression.
He did go kind of hard on like the Batman impression, like a little bit more than I think.
I usually swap out the quotes with the actual movie clip, but I think I'm going to leave that one in.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And what I want to get at with that is that, I mean, we can do small things that still do a lot of good. I mean, you could almost say that Commissioner Gordon putting that coat on Bruce's shoulders may have led him on the path toward Batman indirectly. You know, it's just kind of the whole how one thing leads to another and everything, butterfly effect, whatever. But I mean, what I'm just trying to get at with that is that even the smallest good things we do are still good, and they can have big ramifications.
Yep. Cup of cold water in Jesus' name.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, this has been a long one, boys. Thank you for sticking with us, as I once said, sticking with us. And
get sticky with us.
Okay. Right. No.
Cut. That one might make it in.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's not specific enough. It's like a Pixar adult joke. It just kind of goes over some people's heads.
It's like a Christian edgy, like the most you can tell.
Credgy. No.
Unhinged Christian memes.
Oh, no.
Thank you guys for talking. Welcome to the family, Zach. Listener, make sure you join more chaos on the Discord and on Instagram, and subscribe and follow so you don't miss next week's episode. It's also going to be a good one. I am just saying that because I'm selling it big, as I do. Thank you for listening, though. Make sure to share it with your friends. Until next week, know that you are loved. God bless.
Thanks for watching, Mom.
Peace out, brethren.
See you later and take care.
That was the most generic, basic outro ever that we've ever had.
See you later, alligator.
Oh, well, I suppose.
Bye.
Aw, see you later, fellas.
Let's do the dad knee slap, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, when you look at the time.
Seth's gone. See you later, guys.
Oh.